Story time. Who got the tea? Who got the tea? Yeah. Story time. Who got the tea? She got the tea. Yeah. Anything you need to know. Story time. Just tune into the show. Story time. Story time. Story time.
It's not nice to see you again. You can still see my hard eyes. How long has it been? There's just something about you that pulls me back in. And then you mess with my heart all over again. I don't mean to put the blame on you, but it's so routine how you always do what you do to me. You think by now I would have learned something. Hey everybody, this is ShaMain.
Perfect. So, what made you want to do music? How did that start for you? Is that something you were interested in growing up, or is it kind of something you realized you love later in life?
Well, I've always been a lover of music. You know, my family's been a lover of music. My father was actually a popular singer back in our country, and I started off playing the violin when I was 5, and I played that all the way until my senior year in high school. So, I mean, music has always been something that, like, was important to me and I was passionate about.
Okay. So, when did you actually start ShaMain music? When did this kind of begin for you?
Maybe, I think full throttle, maybe like after high school. I did like a year and a half at like community college, and I was like, this isn't for me. I need to focus on my music, and that's what I did. So I've been doing that forever, ever since then.
So, do you write your own music, compose your own music, and kind of where do you get your inspiration from for your songs?
I do write my own songs. I've never actually fully composed the whole song, like from top to bottom. Although I can, I feel like that's a lot of work. But I'm not opposed to doing it. But I can get inspiration from pretty much anywhere. I write a lot about things that I go through or that I've gone through, or you know, people around me have gone through something. I can write about that. I can just kind of pull, like, I don't know. It's just always something that kind of came a little easy for me. So I'm thankful because it definitely helps the process along. So
what would you say your process is? Are you like, I'm alone? Like some of my friends who are like actors and stuff, like when they're like in actor mode, they like don't talk and like meditate and they don't speak to any of us. Like, what is your process when you're like writing your music?
No, that's not me at all. Like, I mean, I can take ideas from people. I love building with people. I can just say, okay, I need to write something about this topic. Someone can give me a topic and I'm like, okay, how can I build this? And how can I make a song out of this? And how can I make it sound good? And how can I come up with a good melody to fit what I'm saying? And how can I make it original and unique and just catchy? So it's just I don't know, it's kind of like a fluent process, like I've developed over time.
Okay, so what would you say you have like coming up now? Because I think you're going through a relaunch, right?
Yes.
So what would you say like is different between the ShaMain of when you first came out and the ShaMain now, which you want us to know about you?
Just, you know, new sound, a whole new team, just a new look. Everything is just kind of not really brand new, but it's just different. And I don't know, back then I was kind of like all over the place with my sound and my looks. I didn't stick to one lane. So now everything's more condensed down into one lane and one purpose. So that's kind of the direction I'm going with. So I don't know.
So what would you say the direction is now?
Now I'm focusing more on like R&B style music, like the new R&B.
Okay, so you have a single out right now. So can we talk about that single and like why you titled it, what you did, and kind of like what your like new project for your album, whatever it be, or EP, whatever it would be.
EP, yeah.
Okay.
Well, this is the first teaser single. It's called Do Your Worst, and the EP is entitled After Do Your Worst. It basically talks about, you know, being in a relationship with this one person, and it's just like, you know that they're not good for you, like absolutely, but it's just you'd rather take them at their worst than not have them at all. It's just like, I know you're gonna give me some BS, but just give it to me anyway. I'd rather have it, you know? So it's kind of like something that I'm sure a lot of women can relate to, and even some men, so.
And as far as what you have like coming out for the EP, is it the same type of sound? Like, is this based off of a relationship of yours? Since you pull things from like your actual experiences?
It's based off of things I've gone through in the past and I'm currently going through. It's not all negative. So there's some positive aspects of a relationship, but it is relationship based and just, you know, feelings and yeah.
So I'm assuming you've been out of, let's say like high school maybe since 2010-ish maybe?
Yes.
Okay, so.
Right on.
Yeah, I was saying, well, you knew her, so I was like,
Yeah.
it was 2010.
Right.
So how would you say that like music has been like a challenge or like uplifting for you? Because most people who come on the show are always like, oh yeah, I've been out for 5 years, 6 years, and I've been grinding. Now I'm finally starting to get some recognition. So can you let people at home know like some of the things that you've experienced since you've been doing your music?
Yeah, well, I mean, like I said, I did college for like a year and a half. I took a year off because I was kind of doing the music like vocally in high school, but it wasn't like anything serious. I was just still experimenting, like learning how to record and learning how to express myself without being afraid, because I was very timid when I was younger. I was very shy. I didn't want to sing in front of anybody. If I wanted to practice singing, it had to be like nobody in the house, in like a closet, so nobody can hear from outside the house. So I just kind of I don't know. I'm sorry. Repeat the question.
So the question is like, have you experienced like any challenges
Yes.
or like some of the good things that have come from doing music since you've been doing it for so long now? And as you said, you're going through a relaunch, so something had to happen in order for you to say we need to rebrand, we need to come back together. So that whole like process for you.
Yeah, well, for me, I was lucky enough to not have to like go into like the 9-to-5 lifestyle, so I just kind of went strictly into music. So I've always been a full-time musician. That's always been my job. So I've always had my flexible hours, you know, my time, which is important because I need to be ready to go here and go there and just, you know, take care of whatever I need to take care of regarding my music. And then I also have the time to myself to really create, sit in the studio. I have a home studio now, so I just sit in there, and that's where I do most of my creating. So I don't know, I've just been blessed to have, you know, that type of lifestyle to, you know, kind of cater to my dreams more. So I'm lucky.
So have you, I don't know, some people have always said like, you know, there's so many no's you hear before you hear yeses. So how was that for you? Is everything like, yes, we're all behind you, ShaMain, everything is great? Like, how was that process for you? Or was it more like, I'm going to these, you know, these gigs and I'm doing this, and it's just like, it took this before like I actually was able to break down the door and get to where I wanted to get?
Well, for me, because growing up, I was so shy and I was so insecure, I think most of my no's came from myself. You know, everybody around me has always been supportive for the most part. But I think most of my discouraging thoughts came from within. So I definitely will say that I held myself back a lot, just with the mindset. I was already failing because I was telling myself no. So, but everyone else was, you know, very supportive for the most part.
Okay, so 2019, 2020, ShaMain, what can we look out for? What things are on the horizon for you?
New projects, new visual work. I'll be performing a lot more. You know, I'm gonna be out there. I have faith. I have faith in myself and faith in my team. So you're just gonna see me like everywhere. That's what I'm hoping.
I'm sure we will. So is there anything that you want people to know about you, just like about your personality, so they can get to know you more, because people always want to feel like they know you? So what can you say about ShaMain that they don't already know?
I don't really know, because I don't know, I'm a very like, I like to stay to myself. You know, I know how to turn it on when I need to, but I really like to stay to myself. So there's a lot that people really don't know about me, and I'm working on it because I know that I have to, you know, show that part of me, because I'm low key a little interesting. Like I'm a little interesting. So I mean, I'm a loyal person. I think that I'm very loyal, and I just love hard. And I mean, you could tell through my music that I'm just an avid lover.
An avid lover. All around lover.
Yes, I'm all around.
He's an avid lover. So what advice would you give someone who is trying to jump into something like this, or even just trying to start something of their own, whether it be being a singer or starting a business? What type of advice would you give them?
I mean, I would say, the advice I would give, I would just say, just start, because not starting is already failing. So you just have to push yourself. And I know personally, I never wanted to start because I was afraid of failing. But if you're too afraid to start, then you've already failed. So you just have to start. And the start, it doesn't have to be perfect, because there's always room to build and to improve. So I would just say, just start.
So do you think that you kind of have like a little bit more pressure on you from using your name? Because I know when I started my show, like, you called it your name? Like I said, yeah, well, it's my show. But they were like, most people kind of go with like an A something, but you went with your name. So how was that for you?
I mean, I don't really feel pressured, because I mean, the reason I use my name is because my name is different. You know, like, you don't hear about ShaMain. I've only met one ShaMain in my life, and that was like a few years ago. So you hear a lot of Charmaines and whatever, but you've never heard of a ShaMain. So I mean, it's just unique.
So who would you say that you kind of pattern your sound after, or if you don't have patterned your sound, like, who would you like to collab with in the future? If you could, anyone. Yeah. I guess we'll say living, because at this point it doesn't matter.
Well, yeah, that's true. Not living. Because I would have definitely named some.
I would say let's be the ones that are alive still.
I mean, I draw inspiration from like the old school ones that have passed, like Whitney Houston and Shaka Khan's and all that. But living, I'm a big fan of like Beyonce, and Riri is my girl, like, all around. But my sound now is that new R&B, like that SZA vibe, Summer Walker type vibe. So that's what I'm going for as of right now.
And how would you say it was before?
It was kind of all over the place. I just kind of wrote from the heart, you know, with no type of direction. Like, whatever, I would look for beats, and whatever I found that spoke to me, I was like, okay, I like this, and I'm gonna write to this. So it was a lot of reggae, because, you know, I'm Caribbean reggae, and growing up classical, I had that classical feel too. And it's a lot of R&B, but it's just like more of an older sounding R&B. So it was just like kind of all over the place, but now it's like specifically in one direction. So
can we get any Caribbean from you coming out soon? Hopefully, it still your roots.
It's not soon, but it's definitely gonna come. Absolutely, because it would just be a sin to not have that, because that's a big part of me.
And Caribbean from where?
I'm from a country called Guyana at the top of South America. A lot of people confuse it with Ghana in Africa, but, you know, it's in South America at the top, on top of Venezuela.
Oh, look at you knowing where they're like.
I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Like, very nice. And how would you say that you say your family and everyone has been supportive? Like, how have they been through this whole process with you, you know, and your music, and kind of like actually following your dream? Because not everybody gets to do that. Mm-hmm. And I had I think a DJ on here who is African, and his family was like, "You want to do what?" Oh yeah. So he still went to school. I think got like an accountant or something degree, but is now really taking off with like being a DJ. And they're like, "Wow, that really did work out for you." Has it been something similar for you?
That's funny that you said that, because that's what a lot of foreign parents are. They want you to be doctors and lawyers and all of that. But I mean, I think because my father was a musician, it was a little more like pursue that. Because once they heard my voice, they were like, okay, she might really do this, you know? I don't care who you ask, my mother is my #1 fan, hands down. Can't nobody top her. Like, it's just, like, she's amazing. She's always been, like, 110% supportive of me. So, I don't know, like, my family, my sister, she's always supportive. So, I don't know, I get a lot of support. I'm definitely thankful for that.
Okay, and thank you so much for coming today. Can you let everyone at home know where they can follow you, your Instagram, any websites, anything you have, so they can go right after this?
Yes.
And go and follow you.
Right after. You guys can check me out on all social media platforms. I'm on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, at ShaMain Music. That's ShaMain Music. Again, That's ShaMain Music. ShaMain Music.
All right, and thank you guys for tuning in. So make sure you give them a nice goodbye before we sign off.
Thank you guys so much for listening to me. Please check me out on Instagram at ShaMain Music and check out my music. And I will see you guys later.
Story time. Who got the tea? Who got the tea? Yeah. Story time.